Our protagonist, Ah Chong, is a middle-aged subway ticket inspector. Like many others, he repeats a meaningless job every day. This job is so simple that it can be done with one hand if you're quick. At his age, this monotonous life has long worn down his edges. One day, after work, Ah Chong was walking home in the rain with an umbrella. Suddenly, he heard a girl calling for help. A beautiful girl was being chased by two thugs. She didn't get far before they pinned her to the ground. Just as their plan was about to succeed, Ah Chong rushed forward and fought them off, rescuing the girl. The girl, Xiao Hui, took Ah Chong home and kindly offered him a towel to dry off.
뭐라고가?
He hurriedly left the place. Initially, Ah Chong thought Xiao was just a passerby. But in the days that followed, Ah Chong couldn't stop thinking about Xiao. Especially after seeing his aging wife at home, his feelings for Xiao grew stronger. Due to his constant thoughts of Xiao, Ah Chong felt very conflicted. After work, he often drank to drown his sorrows. But the bar was a place of trouble, and Ah Chong stepped in to help a bullied customer. He ended up getting beaten up. Ah Chong came to the square fountain to clean his wounds and met a girl he knew. Many girls ignore strangers, but Xiao Yu was different. Seeing Ah Chong injured, she offered her handkerchief to bandage him. Then she took Ah Chong to an empty swimming pool. While Ah Chong was wondering what she was up to, the girl unexpectedly took off her long dress right in front of him.
Wow.
What a breathtaking view. But maybe Ah Chong was afraid of being set up, so he directly refused the girl's advances and left with a smile. In the quiet of the night, Ah Chong, deep in thought, turned and went to Zhao's house. Watching the sleeping girl, his heart was filled with great satisfaction. At this moment, Xiao woke up from the slight noise. Seeing Ah Chong in front of her, her eyes were full of tenderness. Surely, if Ah Chong made an excessive request now, she wouldn't refuse. However, the long-term living environment made the man very self-conscious and lacking in confidence. In the following work, Ah Chong injured his hand and could only do cleaning tasks. This made him think about changing jobs, but as a middle-aged man, he really didn't know what to do. After some twists and turns, he returned to his original job. Returning to work, Ah Chong once again encountered Xiao Hui in the subway station. Passionate Xiao Yao Chong comes to the restaurant to eat and is very appreciative of his work. This is the first time Xiao Chong has been praised. After the meal, Xiao Yao invites Xiao Chong home for milk. The happy pair laugh all the way, almost like a couple. When they return to Xiao Yao's place, Xiao Chong sees another girl in the room, the one who previously bandaged his wound. They meet each other honestly. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. In this awkward encounter, Ah Chong lost all his fantasies about Xiao. Back home, he looked at his old wife and thought about young, beautiful girls. Not long after, Ah Chong took his wife and children on an outing. By chance, they came across a couple exercising in the wild. Drawn by the sounds, Ah Chong quietly observed the scene before him. The girl's enchanting voice and fine beads of sweat completely ignited the fire in Ah Chong's heart. Ah Chong began to accept the reality that he was attracted to young girls and wanted to connect with their vibrant souls. However, he realized that he had neither the means nor the status to support young girls, let alone afford professional services. Just when Ah Chong was feeling desperate, he accidentally saw his son making a specimen of a frog. Inspired by this, he went to the pharmacy and bought a large amount of anesthetic. This type of anesthetic can make people unconscious instantly with just a small amount in the room. Ah Chong repeatedly experimented with the anesthetic on frogs. His first target is the beautiful waitress Yurong. During a chat with her colleague, after identifying the target, Ah Chong made thorough preparations. When it was late at night, he quietly climbed over the courtyard wall and opened the window. He then put the prepared anesthetic inside. Minutes later, the situation inside the house was exactly as he expected. Yurong was already fast asleep under the effect of the anesthetic. Ah Chong turned on the bedside lamp and carefully observed the vibrant body. Then he turned off the light and enjoyed the moment. This night was the happiest night of Ah Chong's life. After enjoying everything, Ah Chong went to the restaurant the next day. He needed to confirm one thing. whether Yurong would call the police. Seeing the busy Yurong, who didn't seem to notice him and acted as usual, it was as if nothing had happened the previous night. Chong would use a syringe to drug different girls and then enjoy his time with them. However, after his enjoyment, Chong would thoughtfully prepare breakfast for the girls and even help them clean their intimate clothing. To those unaware, he might seem like a considerate guy. Only then did she realize someone had been in the house. Wanting to uncover the truth, Yurong stayed up all night the next day. She wanted to see who this mysterious, warm-hearted man really was. But that night, Chong didn't show up. Chong often admires other girls with his skilled techniques, never failing. To keep indulging in the joy of young girls, Chong works tirelessly, leaving early and returning late. At night, Chong visits Yurong's home again. After finishing, he habitually does the housework. She knew that man came again at night. Yurong picked up the phone to call the police, but changed her mind and put it down. She realized she liked being taken care of, even if she hadn't met him in person and was the victim. Every day, Chong flirts with various girls, but his favorite is still Yurong. He changes his image and starts working out, even picking her up during the day. However, this time, he sees Yurong and her boyfriend being sweet together. They go to the cinema, and Chong follows them. Watching the sweet couple, Chong can't hold back anymore. He calls Yurong's boyfriend to the restroom and beats him up, even forcing him to drink a spiked drink. This impulsive act makes Yurong wary. That night, when Chong visits her home again, he doesn't use any drugs, and Yurong pretends not to know anything because she has become dependent on Chong's care. The next morning, Chong prepared breakfast as usual. Before leaving, he didn't forget to cover Yurong with a blanket. After Chong left, Yurong immediately opened her eyes and sat up. This time, she finally saw the true face of this man. The next day, they met at Young's workplace. Young's hands were trembling uncontrollably. To test how strong Chong was, Young invited 2 colleagues to sleep over that night. As usual, Chong came over, but he was surprised to see 2 extra girls in the room. That night, he was as happy as a child. He kept taking pictures of them with his camera. When the moment was right, Chong excitedly took off his mask and started playing with a small bubble blower. Chong himself was also drugged and passed out on the sofa with the girls. The next day, Yurong woke up. Seeing Chong lying naked beside her, she decided to call the police. When Chong woke up again, the neighbors had already seen everything. At this moment, Chong understood that everything was over. However, he wasn't afraid. Instead, he calmly smiled at Yurong. Soon, the group arrived at the police station. The police were furious with this pervert and wanted to send him in immediately. However, as the victim, Yurong decided to withdraw her complaint against Chong. She told the police that she had gotten used to being taken care of, as she had lost her parents at a young age and good things rarely happened to her. Thus, Chong was released without charges. After leaving the police station, he went to the empty pool, relaxed, and cleared his mind. In the future, Chong will confidently enter Yurong's home and enjoy their twisted happiness.
아이 나 믿죠?